The countdown to kickoff is on, and we are covering the Seahawks like no one else is on the internet. Seahawks Today, each and every day, with live shows, watch parties, breaking news, rumors, and more. It is the place to be. Subscribe now, youtube.com/Seahawks TV, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. We are on track to reach 30,000 subscribers, and we're in the midst of a battle with Dolphins today to get there. They're catching up to us, folks. We want to get there first. And as promised, I've said I will do a Gatorade bath when we get to 30,000 subscribers. Got to get there, though. Help us out. Subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Welcome in to Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for starting a brand new week with us on the channel. Today, got a few big topics to talk about. One former NFL executive says the Seahawks are very interested in 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. Also have an injury update on Tre Brown and some Seahawks roster cut news as the 53-man roster will be set tomorrow. We begin with Jimmy G as former NFL executive Michael Lombardi reports that the Seahawks are very interested in the 49ers quarterback. Now, I know what you're thinking. How does this make any sense? Let's dive into what Mike Lombardi had to say. He told 95.7 The Game in San Francisco, "I keep asking teams all the time, why don't they just cut Jimmy G now? And the answer that I got back from multiple teams is, they don't want him to go to Seattle. I said, well, how interested in Seattle is Jimmy G? And one source said, oh, they're very interested in him. So for all the talk about Geno, for all the talk about Drew Lock, I think Seattle knows they're going to get Jimmy G. And I think San Francisco knows that he could go there. So they're trying everything in their power to prevent that, and they have no takers. So what I think will happen is the Friday before the opening weekend, I think they'll cut Jimmy G. I think that's when they'll cut him, and then they'll have to go and do his contract and go up to Seattle and go there. But there is no interest in allowing Seattle to even have a week of preparation with Jimmy G to come in as their starting quarterback. But I do believe, reliably reported to me, that Seattle is the team that wants him. That's from Mike Lombardi. Here is the Seahawks quarterback depth chart. After the Seahawks lost to the Cowboys last week, Geno Smith was named the Week 1 starter for the opener against the Denver Broncos, with Drew Lock as the backup. Jacob Eason expected to be among the roster cuts, but a pretty good chance that Eason will ultimately end up on the practice squad as the de facto number 3 quarterback for the Seahawks as things stand right now. So I'll give you my thoughts and reaction to what Mike Lombardi reported in just one moment, but now it's your turn on Seahawks Today. Will the Seahawks add Jimmy G? I'm very curious what you guys think on this one. I think you guys are going to get pretty loud in the comment section on this one. So with that, get a little animated. If you think they will, type HY for hell yes. If you think no, type HN for hell no. Okay? Put it in the comment section. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it right now and get your predictions in if the Seahawks will add Jimmy G. Personally, I'm not buying it. Really, it doesn't add up. As much as the Seahawks have invested in Geno Smith and Drew Lock at this point, it just doesn't add up. And look, Jimmy G, I think, has had a solid career to this point, but he hasn't lived up to that contract that's being paid. There's a reason why San Francisco is moving on to Trey Lance like they are. And for me, there's 3 things I point to of why the Seahawks won't add Jimmy G. Garoppolo is not a long-term solution, okay? I mean, at best, he's your starting quarterback for a couple of years. I mean, that's it. Jimmy G is going to be a full-time backup sooner than later. So, no, I don't see that as a long-term solution. If you're the Seahawks, you already have short-term guys in Geno Smith and Drew Lock. That doesn't solve your quarterback issues for the long term by going with Jimmy G. Number 2, the timing doesn't work at all. as mentioned with Mike Lombardi's report there, he says that he would expect it to be Friday of next week, right? So that would be after the Rams have already played the Bills on Thursday night, and the Seahawks ultimately then would be playing on Monday night against the Broncos. That's not enough time to get him out on the field and missing all of training camp and everything about that. The timing just does not sound ideal. And then also the other factor of Lombardi's report there, the Niners also have to get their roster cut down to 53 on Tuesday. And so are the Niners really going to keep Jimmy G on the 53 just to play spoiler to the Seahawks for a few extra days? That doesn't add up to me either. So I'm not buying that one. And then last but not least, where does the money come from in all this? The salary cap right now, of the top 51, the Seahawks have about $11 million in cap space. And less than that because of how it will factor in of when they narrow it down to 53. But Jimmy Garoppolo is somebody that I think is going to be at least $10 million, if not more. I just don't know where that money works out necessarily for Jimmy G right now. You're already given the new deal to DK Metcalf. To me, there's just things that don't add up here, that don't make sense on the idea of adding Jimmy G. The numbers on Garoppolo, as we mentioned, not bad. I mean, last year, 20 touchdowns, 12 picks. You go back to 2019 when he took him to the Super Bowl, had a solid year, 27 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. But he is not a franchise quarterback, and he is not a long-term solution for anybody, for that matter. So, no, I don't see Seattle investing in Jimmy G as far as I'm concerned. Today's show is presented by BetUS, and BetUS, folks, has got a great deal just for Seahawks Today viewers. They are offering a 125% deposit bonus. College football getting started this week. Man, there's some great games to bet on. And I got to tell you, my lock-it-in bet this week is Notre Dame to cover 17 against Ohio State. They're not going to lose by 17. I got Ohio State winning at home, but 17, I think that might be a bit of a stretch. That's my lock this week. Get your bets in today. You can bet on your Seahawks as well at chatsports.com/bet for that 125% deposit bonus with the promo code Seahawks125. You put $100 down, you're going to get $125 to spend for free. Available now, chatsports.com/bet, promo code Seahawks125. Injury news, Tre Brown has been added to the PUP list, and this is no surprise. This was expected as Brown has yet to return at this point. And Brown is a guy that started 3 games as a rookie in 2021 for the Seahawks. There was high hopes that he would build off of the momentum that he built up last year with the solid rookie season that he had, but ultimately he's not going to be ready to go. And with the PUP list, the way that factors in, just to give you an idea, folks, meaning that he'll go on this list and miss a minimum 4 games, and he does not count against the 53-man roster. So that's how that plays out right now. We could see Tre Brown later on in the year, but at the very least, he'll miss 4 games. A former 4th-round pick out of Oklahoma and out of Union High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma, my hometown there. Got to shout out Tre Brown there. 2-time All-Big 12 selection, second-teamer. A lot of talent for Tre Brown. Hopefully we see him back soon. But what it makes for is an interesting race in the defensive back department, because we've talked a lot about on this show the development of Kobe Bryant and Tariq Woolen, the Seahawks Day 3 selections, and how they're competing for those starting cornerback jobs, along with the veterans of Sidney Jones and Artie Burns. And with that, with Tre Brown coming back from injury and not being around at all this offseason of still recovering, it makes you wonder, will Tre Brown have a starting job when he comes back? That, I don't know at this point. It seemed like going into the offseason, if Tre Brown was healthy, there was a good shot that he would compete for one of those starting cornerback jobs. But now he's got got to play some catch-up, and it's a new defensive scheme from what he played in a year ago in Seattle. So, Seahawks Today believes that Tre Brown will not start when he returns to the Seahawks roster. Do you agree with that or not? Let me know in the comments section. If you agree with our statement that Tre Brown will not start for the Seahawks, type T for true. If you disagree with that statement, type F for false. Let me know in the comments section below. Watch parties, live shows, breaking news, all on Seahawks Today, including this week on the channel. Seahawks Today Live coming at you at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And myself, producer Jeremy Chuggs, we have a great time giving you all the latest insights and answering your questions here on the channel. You want to make sure and join us for Seahawks Today Live. Subscribe now so you never miss a moment of our live shows, watch parties, and more. Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, right here on Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Couple roster cut updates. The Seahawks have to narrow down that roster to 53 by Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, and they've already got a head start. No real surprises at this point. Cade Brewer, Aaron Donker, also Jameson Hudson and Ronnie Williams. And with Aaron Donker, if you remember, he was on the International Player Program, and he's one that is believed to have a good shot at still being on the practice squad. He would not count against the practice squad number because of the International Pathway Program. So something to keep in mind there. And Brewer and Rivers, those guys were just added last week. So not a big shock at all that those guys ultimately get the axe at this point in time. So with the roster going from 80 to 53 tomorrow, I want you to be critical here. Name a player the Seahawks will cut. Okay? We keep things positive around here for the most part, but I want you guys to get real with me. Who is a guy that will miss the roster for the Seahawks when they narrow it down tomorrow? Let me know in the comments section. Name a player the Seahawks will cut. As always, you can follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram, at Tyler Jones Live, talking Seahawks all the time there. Love interacting with you guys each and every day as the show never stops on those social media platforms. We'll see you tomorrow with a complete breakdown of the Seahawks' final 53-man roster. Thanks for joining us.